All right, let's just jump into it, shall we? So we had played a variation of this once before. We're going to give it another try here again. We've got some frozen mushrooms or some Teemo Sajani. So Teemo, every time elusive champion, every time he hits the opponent's deck, he plants puff caps in it. And the puff cap's attached to your opponent's cards in their deck. And when they draw a card with the puff cap attached to it, their Nexus takes 1 damage. And when Teemo levels up, once he's seen you plant 15 plus puff caps, he doubles the amount of puff caps. Doubles the amount of puff caps in their deck. So this combos with our other champion, Sajani, who levels up when we deal damage to the enemy Nexus on 5 different rounds. So the puff caps can deal damage to the opponent on their turn when we don't have the attack token, which helps level Sajani faster. And then once Sajani's leveled, the puff cap damage can trigger this play effect. Can trigger the each round effect. Each round, the first time you deal damage to the enemy Nexus, you frostbite all their stuff. So basically, once Sajani's leveled, you get to have your puff caps wipe out your opponent's opposing power every turn, which gives you constantly very good open attack type things. So the rest of the deck is kind of just like good cards in our colors. You know, things like Omen Hawk, Sentry, Ice Veil Archer, Trapper, some Mystic Shot, some Chump Wumps, that decent unit that also helps us plant some puff caps. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see what it looks like. Thanks, cheaters. Had Matter, thanks for the 13 months. Good to have you here. I've been enjoying the Runeterra stuff too. Yeah, in the channel update video, I used what I would refer to as a conversationalist tone. Whereas generally when I'm streaming for hours at a time as opposed to a short 5-minute video that I'm recording in the evening, I think that sounds actually, I'm just going to keep all of it. I am generally speaking from my diaphragm to project my voice. It makes my voice a little bit stronger and allows me to speak for longer durations without hurting my vocal cords. This is elusive anyways, so I think we just play the Chem Punk Pickpocket here and try and attack with both rather than opening on attacks. Am I okay trading the 3-2 for the 2-2? Probably not, so I think I just smack them with this. What's going on, Noxon? Teemo and Fizz are definitely two of my favorite champions. Those two and Lux are probably my 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead and eat their 1-1 here. Static Shock. That's rude. The update video, it sounded like you would not return to Magic if they didn't do anything last Monday. If Watch decides to change things, would you return to Magic, or is it more principle at this point? I'm just gonna play games on stream that I have fun playing Llama-Copter. And Magic and the constructed formats that it offers in its current states, I don't think are fun. And that's subjective. People can feel free to disagree with that, but that's how I feel. I think games should be fun, and Magic as a game is currently not fun in my opinion. Like a Mosh, thank you for the 20 months. I appreciate that. We're going to be playing a ton of different great non-Magic games too, so hopefully you check out some of those and find one you enjoy. Excelora, thank you for the absurd pile of sub-gifties. I appreciate that. Good morning. Happy Blur's Day. What day of the week is it? Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday, my dudes. I want to get Trappers down ASAP because they put an Enraged Yeti in the top few cards of our deck. She was a good heavy hitter. Got a couple of Tusk Raiders in here as top end. This has Plunder. It doubles the power and health of allies in your deck. And then at play, it draws us our Sajani champion, which is nice. We are going to play some Portos today. Hey, Manu. Thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream this morning. Hope the Fizz Teemo deck was sweet. It's one of my favorites right now.
Give to me.
I think we're just going to go ahead and play our things out here. Noxious Piltover. Don't really have to worry about any sweepers here. We are going to wrap on 5D chests today. We'll see how that goes. Man, these static shocks have just been brutal. It's unfortunate we haven't had any of our copies of Elixir.
They're out there. I'll spot them.
I think even if we draw the 5/5 next turn, I'm going to open on attack, so our Chempunk is likely to hit them and draw a spell.
Check out the goods on this one.
Yeah, I'm not playing any copies of Suit Up, which I think is correct. If you look at, like this deck isn't really an all-in Teemo deck. It's basically using Teemo as an extra tool to potentially enable Sajani down the line. We're definitely more of a Sajani deck than a Teemo deck. A card like Suit Up is much worse when your average unit tends to be bigger. So, like, when Suit Up's turning, like, 2 1s and 3 2s and 3 3s into 4 4s, its merit is a lot less. Man, we are just getting picked apart. I've not played any Quinn decks. I have a couple of 5/5s at least here, though, so we'll see what they play out next turn. These are a little bit chunkier, a little bit harder for their colors to kill. There's one of those mushrooms triggering our Sajani on their turn, like we talked about. And then, if this attacks, we've got this gotcha, so... We could just see them pass here, because they might just want to take our mana, but, like, I honestly don't have anything to do with our mana, so... It's not like we have a better play. I've not, actually. So, Vi was primarily played in the Heimerdinger deck before that got nerfed, but... I wasn't even really a fan of the Heimervi deck, if I'm being honest. Now the question is, do I open on attacks? I feel like the answer is no. I think I'm supposed to Mystic Shot them and then play this out with Plunder so I can get in with it inside of combat. Is my plan? I guess this means they can deal damage to me to stun my stuff here, though. Is a very real concern. This specifically only stuns back row units. Yep, yeah, doubles first and then draws, which means Sajani gets the power up. Am I willing to trade these here? I think I am. Nah, I'm not probably. I'm gonna say no. Let's not trade these here. Having extra 5 power things that can block Swain's a big deal, I think. How's this been? Just getting started, Ash. Ezreal level right away is real scary. We are at 18 at least, but we don't have an elusive that can block this either. See if they open on attacks here or not. Feel like they probably do. Yeah, you can always find my decks on my Mobalytics page. You can also find it on the overlay using the extension. Sajani is leveled and ready to go. Is this another burst spell? We're definitely going to be on the open attacks next turn.
Firing.
Like, the fact that they know I have a Sajani makes this play seem really bad. It's like, I get to play this.
I was forged by winter.
Now, like, Sajani's leveled, and this loses its power. Yeah, I need to open on attacks next turn, though, because otherwise they're gonna get to stun. They're gonna get to stun my Sajani with their Swain. So I think it's important that I get Sajani down here, so that way I can open on attacks next turn. Like, if I play Tusk Raider, I can't open on attacks.
After the battle,
Well, I guess this is a bad play, huh? They were probably dead here. I assume we're gonna be dead when they untap here. They only need what, one burn spell here to kill us, or did they get excited?
know your place.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Their time has come.
Burn me at sea. They left me alive. That was a mistake.
It's I think one of the things that makes me chuckle about Runeterra the most is, like, people are so used to, like, card games and stuff not having good intro tutorials that, like, they're like, okay, do you have a video or something that explains how to play Runeterra? And I honestly don't think you could do something much better than, like, what the actual in-game tutorial is. Hey, Cody, thanks for the sub gifty. And Jaquan, thanks for the half a year. Hope you're staying safe out there. Correct. Yeah, they also give you extra experience points for playing further into the tutorial. Opponent is playing Ash Sajani, which probably means this Mystic Shot's not very good. I'm gonna keep Teemo, Chem, and Thermo Beam, I think, here. I'm not used to a card game having good emotes. People say GG was shed and it's amazing. I never got. Well, and like, so I think part of that culture too is like, I can understand that culture to a degree, and it's part of like what Magic is a game. There's a ton of games of Magic that I think you could define objective measures of like what's a good game and what's not. And there are so many games of Magic that are just not good games. And like, that's definitely a feature of the game. It's not a bug. Like, the system by design has a lot of non-games in it. But like, it's just accurate to say that there are a ton of games of Magic that just kind of suck. Like, one player stumbles and dies, one player floods and dies, one player mulligans and dies. Like, the number of non-games in Runeterra when both players are playing competitive decks are just, like, very few and far between. And there's definitely, like, some saltiness and some unsportsmanlike stuff that goes on with regards to Magic in general, I think you could definitely say. But I also think, like, that reality of there being a lot of non-games contributes to that. I think I'm just burning this beam to kill the Hawk. Am I? I'm just gonna bank that for now.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
You're not wrong, FGC. Well, that was an opportune draw. This is the part where they elixir me and then kill my thing anyways, right? No elixir. The Fizz Shoulders is risky on the turn they could have the elixir, chat. I think I'd rather heal the Chem Punk here so I can attack into the Omen Hawk again. Ornn and Elvish. How much roughly do you need to spend on Legend of Runeterra to have a reasonable card pool? So, the big thing to understand about Runeterra that's different than all these other card games is that in Runeterra, you literally get to buy just the cards you want. And so, the fact that you can buy just the cards you want makes it very feasible to buy just one reasonable deck, and then from there, just earn cards and free to play the system from that point. You could also completely free to play. There's a bunch of people in chat that said the free to play is very good. I whale all of my card games. I think it's about $100 to $150 a set to buy actual everything outright. But like getting just reasonable decks is much cheaper than that because the monetization system is not predatory. I think I'm just burning my Thermo Beam here. This uses all my mana and kills this, and the next turn I have 6 mana and can play Sejuani.
I will unite the Freljord.
I mean, you could technically free to play any game out there, right? It just depends on like how much you're willing to slog through. The amount you're willing to you have to slog through in Runeterra seems to be a lot less. I think we Frostbite their Overwhelm one, right? This unfortunately is vulnerable, so Ashe is going to be able to force this to block and kill it, but it is what it is.
Vandal Scout never.
I think a lot of it looks good, Mr. 3000. I don't know that I like the 3-drop that they put in it, but I think the addition of aces looks excellent.
Winter take you.
The time is right. Strike now.
Their Ashe is probably... This card is single-handedly the reason why the opponents... I think this card is in large part why their deck is the best deck in the format at the moment. It's just so brutal. Like the other... It has a lot of other decent cards in it too, but... Reckoning's a cut above. At the very least here, at least we kill their Sejuani as well, but that trade's definitely still good for my opponent overall.
Strong will have the spoils.
Unfortunately, do not have Plunder here, but I think I need to just get this down.
Swiftly now.
Ready the torches. Light the signal fires.
It's very conditional. It's a, like, I don't know, like, the conditional on it is, like, pretty trivial to do in the opponent's archetype. And I don't know that I'd argue it's too strong, and maybe it is, I don't know. But I definitely think, like, I think saying that that card's a big part of why their deck is good is accurate.
Guide our allies, my friend.
Like, again, my intention's not strictly to say, okay, this card's too good, but it's just to identify, like, okay, this is why that deck functions. Alright, so we're pretty likely to get Harsh Winds tier, right? So I think I actually hook this with the 3-1, so that way if they Frostbite the thing hooking Ashe, I don't lose that much power.
Stand and defend.
Maybe have Into the North here. Culling Strike's a reason. Culling Strike's a reason to put something else over here. That's a big deal. So maybe a mistake on my part.
Fight for your lives.
Yeah, the monetization on Magic Arena is much better than Paper Magic, but it's still god-awful compared to anything that's not predatory.
Only the finest serve.
I think we're ahead at this point, I agree. Have some chunky monkeys here. This is a little scary. So all their things are +2/+2 in their deck now because they've had 2 Hearthguards come down. So if this game doesn't end pretty soon, we're gonna be in a little bit of trouble. Oh, this leveled. Oh, I could just do that. That's great. Do I play the 5/5? I think I play the 5/5, right? Because I can Mystic Shot their Nexus. We'll be playing. We're gonna play 5D chess this afternoon. So for Runeterra decks, I do just like with Magic decks. I'm gonna play for about 1.5 to 2 hours each. So about 3.5 to 4 hours. We'll get to 5D chess.
These are our lands.
So when this hits their Nexus, Sajani's gonna trigger and Frostbite all their stuff. I've not. We're gonna fumble with it for the first time on stream.
The Witcher's Claw triumphs!
Yeah. Level Sajani is very, very powerful, especially with direct damage like Mystic Shot. Yeah. We even beat the Reckoning there, right? Like, Reckoning definitely powerful. I don't know that I would classify it as overbearing, but I think it's accurate to say that, again, Reckoning is a big part of why the opponent's archetype is good. Draven Jinx, most assuredly an aggressive deck. Don't want an 8-drop in my opener. Teemo, Ice Veil Archer removal spell sounds good though. This is like a fantastic curve here. A Trapper is just like very, very good in these aggressive matchups.
The sun rock got me good. Reporting in.
It could be right to just beam this here. That is a phenomenal draw against their deck that has Noxious and Piltover cards in it. And I think we just bank the spell mana here. So again, if you don't use a resource in a turn in Runeterra, you can bank up to 3 of them over here. This resource system really goes a long way towards creating fewer non-games, like you frequently experience in games like Hearthstone and Magic, because it means that if you're not curving out perfectly, your mana doesn't just go to waste, which is quite elegant.
Think they can see me?
Yeah, Runeterra is great. I think the core gameplay loop of Runeterra is one of the better sets of core gameplay. I did not. Never really got into MOBAs. I cut my teeth playing what games did we play growing up? We played Diablo 2, the original Guild Wars, and Counter-Strike Source were the games my friend group largely played during high school and undergrad. I think I'm just playing Archer out here.
A true Freljordian welcome.
Morning, Xerix. Yeah, we'll see. I plan to dip back into Magic when rotation happens. I don't plan to drop Runeterra at that point, though. Probably a split of the two. Flavor-wise, what are some of your favorite Runeterra cards? Honestly, they just do such a good job in general with their IP and the flavor of the cards. There's a lot of characters that are very easy to identify with and find adorable. Like this guy's great, chat. How could you hate Teemo? He says, knowing that most League players despise Teemo. He's the devil. He is adorable. He's an adorable devil. Is that what you said?
It's Draven time. Catch.
What did we catch?
Let's boogie.
Help the poor.
Tread carefully. If it's a fight they want.
Yeah, let's gonna do this. And actually, let's leave the 5/5 bigger. So we'll let the 3/1 go to 1 as opposed to this going to 3. Because if this goes to 3, it dies to get excited. This lets this trade here, but I think that's fine. If they want to axe that. Do I actually just Mystic Shot this? I think I actually do that. I'm gonna Mystic Shot this, and then we'll Thermo Beam Draven post-combat, and we'll untap in Sajani. This is a slow spell, so I can't play it inside of combat. Sure. And cards like Noxian Fervor here really show why it's important to keep my life total high in a match like this. Tebow is literally the devil. That's great.
Carved from the savage cold.
Just you and me, Fishbones.
So, like, them having a Jinx is a real downside to, like, playing Sajani out actively like that. They get to level her now. That being said, my Sajani and my Teemo are gonna level here, right? Not quite yet. Are we one off? We're one off. Okay. This is gonna level though, right? Yeah. Let's see if they have, if they found a Mystic Shot or get excited to kill Teemo here.
Face me, coward.
No, it's here somewhere.
That's true. Jinx does draw them an extra card every turn, which means they're more likely to draw mushrooms. They're also, like, at 3, and I have a Mystic Shot, so, like, they're dead to a mushroom here. Yeah, it should be the game. This also levels Sajani.
Only the strong survive.
little mushroom synergy there.
Anything helps. Stick your lip out.
The Winter's Claw triumphs.
The Winter's Claw triumphs. Climbing on up the ladder. 55 more mushrooms. I believe in you. I believe in you, Teemo. 55 more mushrooms. Ezreal, Twisted Fate. I think I'm actually just keeping all of these here. Trapper, making 5/5s is pretty good against their deck. They tend to have a hard time killing slightly larger things, which is nice. We have Elixir of Iron here to protect Teemo against their first removal spell as well, which is decent. Yeah, it's confirmed that the expansion coming out next month will come out with a new region. Riot's approximate release plans are new sets every 2 months, with every third set or every 6 month, including a new region. Definitely playing Trapper here, so this puts an Enraged Yeti in our top 3 cards. Just want to get to that as soon as possible. If they attack with everything, I'm going to eat the 2/2. If they attack with just this, I'll trade. Yeah, we'll probably peek at some of them X. Do I want to attack with anything else here? I think the answer is yes. And this Hawk is likely to make our 5/5s into 6/6, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, you don't want to cross me.
Never know what hit 'em.
Other new cards? Not yet, but we should. I imagine if there's a set coming out next month, they'll do some kind of spoiler type season. Things are gonna get a little cloudy, chat. Put on your mask. It's good advice for the world in general right now. Put on your mask. The fact that Nab doesn't steal our Enraged Yetis anymore is so great. That was such a tilting mechanic when they could steal your things, and you played this card to put into your deck. I just made Mushroom Cloud's opponent. Come on. What is that play? They ever play the original Baldur's Gate? I did not.
What did you catch?
So they're gonna draw 4 cards next turn. So they're gonna draw 4 cards next turn, and we're gonna put a ton of mushrooms in their deck. So if this hits, they're gonna have 48 mushrooms and 30 cards. They're drawing 4 cards. Did they draw a removal spell for Teemo? Alright, we're done here.
They walked around. Deal me in. Who says I don't share?
My collection.
My selection speaks for itself. Tell me mask, secure me tail, start the day.
Put on me mask, secure me tail, start my day.
Welcome to
Oh no, we're about to get sharked.
And they call me a sh-
That's pretty good. That is the downside to not opening on attacks. Perhaps I should have done that. So their Ezreal is leveled now.
What you looking for?
You think Artifact was prettier than what Runeterra is? I disagree with that. Artifact was really dark and drab, which I guess if you're into that, it could be okay. So 53 puff caps and 24 cards. We're basically leaning on those to get us through here. Drawing Sajani would also be nice at some point.
I've carved meat bigger than you.
They have another shark here. Feels like I'm about to get sharked again. Yeah.
And they call me a shark.
Alright, we need 5 points and 2 draws, which actually isn't that much of a high roll. Okay, now 4 points and 1 draw is a bit of a high roll.
A true Freljordian welcome.
I'm not greedy. My friends though. I'm so good I surprise myself. Don't blink or you'll miss me.
I assume we're dead here. Really close game. A little bit unfortunate with our mushroom hits there. That's what it is.
Charge!
I think I was wrong. The turn they sharked us the first time, I should have opened on attacks. And not opening on attacks there. Or did I get the quest? I think you're right that I did. Not opening on attacks. Not opening on attacks meant I ended up missing some points of damage, which was a big deal. If I would have opened on attacks, I think we would have pushed through a little bit more damage there. Either would have pushed through more damage, or they would have had a worse attack down the line and wouldn't have been able to enable their second shark. Like one of those two things would have happened. Easy Swain. Elixir is fantastic. Being able to protect Teemo here is huge.
Another day in the field. Swiftly. Gaps.
It's good. Good value. I'm just banking spell mana there on 2 because I want to be able to elixir to protect Teemo. Hitting a mushroom or 2 early is very, very good with Sajani. Get her leveled real quick.
Smells like opportunity.
Wouldn't be surprised if they have another burn spell or removal spell here. Their deck plays a lot of them. Yeah. So, Teemo at least gets to survive here, but their champions are well on their way to leveling here. Swain, is Swain the easiest champion to level in this game? I feel like it's up there. The decks that play him tend to level him very quickly.
Time for a true display of skill.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Katarina, yeah, that's a good one. I think I actually just block here, so otherwise they're gonna get a Mystic Shot and shoot him. So like, blocking there means they get to keep 2 extra mana, but it also means that this takes a damage that like their Ezreal and their Swain are a little bit further from leveling. Thanks, Arwoods. I appreciate the quarter viewer. Welcome back. So both these are dying.
Firing!
Like the signal fires. Nothing escapes my watch.
What you looking for?
All the times on my calendar are Central Cornfield time. So it is currently it's currently 20 to noon where I live.
Gotcha.
So you'll be able to we started about an hour ago, thereabouts. So I assume Chem Punk Pickpocket's gonna die here.
Charge! Just borrowing.
Leave your bags in the
Pretty sure we're the beatdown here as this matchup goes long.
master your team.
Like Swain's leveled already. This matchup seems hard. We lost it earlier. Alright, this is leveled already. Mushrooms. Mushrooms are real good to us.
Carved from the savage cold.
Static Shock especially is very good against us.
In Avarosa's name. Justify yourself.
So I ordered my attackers like this, so this way if they block like this, this will take the power off of these, so these don't die. So Sajani is stunned, but still triggers, which is nice. Really want them to draw a mushroom here so we can Tusk Raider with Plunder. It's unfortunate. Howdy, hello mob. Let's get you a sword while you're here. Thanks for all the support. Welcome to a live one.
Merely pawns in a greater game.
Check me out!
Yeah, Ezreal leveling is huge. I think I just do this, even though... I don't have Plunder, because I want to open on attacks and try and run them down. These two together are going to kill us very fast, so... it's important we try and end the game.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in.
So this can deal an extra 4 to our dome with its fleeting Mystic Shot, but we're still at a relatively healthy 13. This Swain notably only stuns back row enemies, which means if we open on attacks next turn, our opponent does not get a chance to stun our things before we get into combat. They're debating on if they want to shoot my dome or kill my 2/1 here, or maybe deal a little bit of damage to one of my existing things.
Firing!
For nothing. I will break them.
Attack!
How tedious.
I'm pretty sure if they just line these up and do nothing else, I just click OK and let it happen. And then we play Chumpwumps. It's very good. So I actually don't want a mushroom there, and there's only 8 and 24 cards, right? I want a mushroom next turn. Next turn, I need a mushroom to turn off Ezreal, but even then, we could still die here. Right? Like, they should just have, like, 6 spells. I guess 6 spells really need them to draw one of their 18 mushrooms and 24 cards.
Stories were true.
If they draw a mushroom, Sajani takes power away from this, and then it doesn't hit me and doesn't make a mystic shot. And that's 4 less damage that they have. Abruptly Laz, thanks for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, there is a good chance that even if we hit the shroom, we're gonna die next turn. There's only 3, right? This is probably just them setting up to kill us next turn. Alright! Step 1. Could be dead here. Do they have 5 spells or like a burn spell? If they have burn spells too, they need less than 5, right? Yep.
Wield your fury.
So this is 3, so now they only need 3 spells in these 4 cards. Rough. Rough. That's close.
These wounds only make us stronger.
We don't really have many good tools for killing Ezreal, do we? Like, we're not Noxious, so I don't have Culling Strike. And, like, I guess I have, like, Get Exciteds and Gotcha, but if they wait to play... Yeah, leveled Ezreal having that 4th point of toughness is just so huge. I don't think we really have any. Yeah, I'm on 3 thermos. It's probably fine. Yeah, I don't think Suit Up's a very good card to play in our deck that's got a bunch of top end. So, Ezreal Twisted Fate tends to be a little bit more aggressive than Ezreal Swain. I think I'm going to go ahead and mulligan the Tusk Raider and we'll keep the rest of these. Team 1-1's a good start. Trapper's a good pickup. Getting your 5-5 down early against their archetype tends to be very good because they have a hard time killing a large statted thing. Hut, 2, 3, 4. Hut, 2, 3, 4. March of the mushrooms. Let's go. Yeah, didn't get thermoed. Didn't get thermoed, didn't get parlayed. Sure, we take those. Just leaving up mana for elixir here. There have been a lot of Ezreal so far today, you're not wrong.
Took the bait.
Morning, Owl.
I'm through waiting.
I didn't do nothing.
I think I'm fine with this trade.
They walked over.
Yes.
This being an early elusive makes leveling Sajani much easier too. Mushrooms also help. Sick. Alright, you love to see it.
I need more hands. Warm hearts and hot soup.
Warm hearts and hot soup.
Let's talk about your dad.
So, I'm pretty sure we want to open on attacks next turn, so that way they can't Twisted Fate red card to kill Teemo.
Never know what hit him.
Hey, Deadland, good to have you here. Yeah, Runeterra's been a lot of fun. Still dies to Mystic Shot, unfortunately. I'll be interested to see where things end up at me for content-wise. Branching out as someone who's primarily streamed one game can be a little bit frightening. Hey, you played around the Twisted Fate well. It's nice. So, one of the things, and I've talked about this on stream before, it's hard to really measure the impact of Eon Thur. Thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate you sending that my way this month and keeping me employed. It's hard to diagnose in my industry whether or not a decision you've made is truly good or bad, because the people who like decisions that you make tend to be more quiet than people who dislike decisions that you've made. And because Twitch subs run on 30-month intervals, like if I make a decision that a number of my subs don't care for, I don't really see a financial impact or direct feedback on that until, I think we played this so the Twisted Fate can't attack this turn until 30 days later. So we'll see where I end up at in terms of subs and support 30 days from now.
If it's a fight they want.
For people that are new to my channel, streaming on Twitch has been my full-time job for the last 2 years or so, primarily with Magic stuff, like we've talked about.
These old eyes still see far and
I've enjoyed Runeterra a lot, though. Definitely my favorite card game I've played, maybe ever. The core gameplay in Runeterra is just so well done.
Safety will cost.
Yeah, January, February 2018 was when I started transitioning to full-time stuff, and we hired a babysitter.
One good turn, hey friendo.
Howdy, Sengi. Welcome to Hooglandia. And this is something that we talked about, you know, why these matchups they go later seem like they're a little bit hard. This deck that we're playing as constructed doesn't really have any card advantage to really propel it or give it extra velocity in the mid to late game. Like, we don't have anything like a shark or we don't have anything like a shark. I think, speaking of shark, I think I'm supposed to block here because of shark, or like a way to draw extra cards like a progress day to like generate some real card advantage in the mid game here if our aggression peters out a little bit. We're leaning on like drawing Sajani or Tusk Raider for Sajani to really pull us through. Caboose Man, thanks for the 14 months.
You name it, I'll nick it.
there's plenty of killing left.
Yeah, Chempunk's been pretty underwhelming. I agree with that assessment. Perhaps trading this out. There's mostly just block and trade in combat like this. So perhaps trading these out for something that can like actually generate card advantage. Like this, these do not consistently do not generate card advantage. Oh, that's fair. We knew about the warning shot. I think it's still a fine block because, like, again, talking about my big top-end plays, like, drawing a card to get to those is valuable.
Don't blink, or you'll miss me. Hey, I'm still on the yodeling uniform.
They're 2 targets off of leveling Ezreal.
I'm in.
Can't block because it's elusive. The Jinx game board's really good. Big agree. Just gonna go ahead and plant these mushrooms. I think punking them out with these is one of our better chances to win. Pretty low probability, but non-zero. So this will get Ezreal to 7 out of 8. Good chance to these other cards. They have to play a lot of their cards out of their hand here because they did draw 3 fleeting ones. They're on a use them or lose them type situation here. This is pretty good. Lets them, okay.
Don't know what they're up against.
Lets them level Ezreal here. This actually isn't even very good, right? Because Ezreal has elusive.
Sure.
Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Matt Maxon. Game should be fun.
My selection speaks for itself.
Yeah, I think the suggestion of Chem Punk Pickpocket being mediocre is pretty on point. This deck is bad against Ezreal. Can you explain why? What facet of our deck do you think makes us bad against Ezreal? Because a lot of our decks, a lot of these games that we've played in the Ezreal matchup have felt incredibly close. So from a theory perspective, can you help me understand why you think the matchup is bad rather than you lost, haha? There really aren't great choices for... I guess we could just actually play Progress Day ourselves. I don't think Starlit Seer is very good. Our deck only has 12 spells in it. So, like, even with Chump Wump, like, if we count Chump Wump as a spell, that gives us, like, 15 spells. Yeah, but like, what's the best way to phrase this? The Ezreal, a lot of the Ezreal decks, like, not every Ezreal deck is an Ezreal Karma deck. Like, the Ezreal Karma deck is a combo deck that's hoping to go big over the top of you. But, like, the Ezreal Twisted Fate decks, like, if you watch those games that we played, like, I think we got combo killed in one of them, and it was still incredibly close. In fact, the games where we're getting combo killed are the more close ones. Veteran Investigator's not card advantage, chat. So again, when I say card advantage, I mean cards that generate multiple cards. Things that draw 2, draw 3, impact the board, and leave a body behind. Something that do more than just 1 for 1. Game playing Twisted Fate Vibe, probably some kind of mid-range deck. I keep the Trapper and mulligan the rest of these looking for a Teemo.
Prepared for anything.
Oh no, we're getting beamed, parlayed. Rough.
I did my best. 2, 3, 4. You'll never know what hit him.
Again, I did not say Veteran Investigator was a bad card. I did not say it wasn't synergistic with what our deck does. The words that I said were, I was looking for something that generates card advantage, and it objectively does not generate card advantage. That's not what the card does. It's not a 2-for-1. It's not a 3-for-1. And that's like, again, the best way to approach deck building, in my opinion, is to ask yourself the question, what problem does my deck have, and how do I try and solve that? And so far, the problem it feels like my mid-range deck has is a lack of card advantage in the mid to late game. So adding something like Progress Day potentially solves the problem I feel like I'm experiencing. And maybe it'll be too clunky, or maybe it won't be enough card advantage, or it won't pull us over the top of what we're doing. But again, like, in terms of this is the problem I feel like we have, let's try and solve it, card advantage is what I'm looking for.
Swiftly. Not for everyone.
Treasures of the ages for a price.
The trap is set.
To be fair, Bob, I also usually don't solicit deck building suggestions from chat, so like, the type of like low effort or like not identifying problems appropriately suggestions and things that happen in Magic streams, like, those aren't unique to Magic. Those are just like a card game player's thing. For people talking about average Twitch views and stuff for Runeterra, like, Runeterra on average has very similar viewer counts to like what Magic does a lot of the time as a category, and considering Magic's 26 years old and Runeterra is fairly new, I think that's like pretty successful overall for the category, for the IP. I think the ceiling on the number of views that a card game could have is definitely lower than something like League of Legends or Valorant or Overwatch, but I don't think there's a reason why Runeterra couldn't possibly have like Hearthstone level viewership at some point. Howdy, Silverfuse. Hope you're having a good day. I recognize your name from the Runeterra Discord, or the Mythgard Discord. So, I don't feel like Hearthguard, again, just like focusing on the what issue is my deck having, I don't feel like Hearthguard really solves the issue I feel like I'm having. Like, and again, I'm not telling you the cards people are recommending are bad. Like, the cards people are recommending are, like, good cards. They're playable cards. But again, the thing I'm asking about and talking about and want to think about and explore is, what is the problem my deck is having and which cards solve this specific problem? Again, games like this just have so many cards that you could include in any deck that you need to identify patterns and figure out, okay, this is what I need to do to make my deck better. And identifying problems and then trying to find solutions to those specific problems are the best way to approach that, in my opinion. I think we just opened a text here.
What's that you got there? Buy me a flavoured lump.
India needs you to pay up.
Yeah, Investigator is a good example of a card that does fill the role I'm asking for. It's a card that does generate card advantage, but I agree with Lod there, where in order to really leverage Investigator, your deck needs to be built in a specific way. And a deck having, not only do you need more 2s to make Investigator good, but your deck as a whole needs to be lower curved, so you have a better chance of playing the fleeting cards that you're drawing. Is there consideration in not playing Tavern Keepers you could progress day this turn? Yeah, perhaps. Hearthstone is more casual friendly. Can you elaborate on that? Do you think it's more casual friendly because of the gameplay? Like the core gameplay loop is more appealing to casual players? I could see that argument being realistic. So like, while someone like me who has played a ton of card games over the years really enjoys Runeterra's gameplay, complexity in gameplay, Crazy Duck with the crazy sub-gifts. You're absurd. Thank you for your incredible generosity. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. I really appreciate it. I think I'm beaming this to keep my health total high here. Use my resources nicely this turn. Yeah, I agree, don't troll me. And like, this deck for people want to build that Runeterra base, I appreciate it. Game's a lot of fun. For people that are newer to the channel too, this deck that we're currently playing, there is just a chance that like the archetype's not very good, right? For people that are new to my content, a lot of the decks that I play here on this channel are viewer sufficient, and random ideas that pop up aren't always competitive. It's just like the hard truth. I think I'm actually just trading off here. Like, this is going to trade for one of their things anyway, so I think we just, like, get the board smaller here. Next turn, we could get Warning Shotted plus Sharked, which is a real concern.
Pain is nothing.
Now, this is vulnerable till end of turn. So if they don't have a removal spell here for this, my Trapper can kill their Vi, which is nice. I agree that Tusk Raider has felt underwhelming and clunky. Ton of respect for what you're doing to make you happy and taking a chance. I think if more people see you, they'll keep coming back. Thanks, Crazy Duck. We're dead, right? Yeah, Tusk Raider has actually not been impressive, and it's an expensive card that explicitly doesn't generate card advantage. Yeah, I should be able to swing that Walker Ebb. The Runeterra, the deck queue in general is kind of small, so I can probably make that happen. Can definitely make that happen. I think the progress there felt, it kind of generates card advantage. Kinda. Yeah, I kind of like that suggestion, actually. Cut the Tusk Raiders and just play Babbling. Babbling's card advantage too. Are they people who are actually streaming, or are they just like trolling in other people's channels, Beansy? Are they like actively pretending to try and be me in other people's channels? Zaunite is card advantage with Mushrooms. What does that card do? I only have Clump Wump. So, like, I don't know that I really like that. I think playing Babbling and pulling the curve down will still having card advantage. Yeah, I agree. Gotcha feels kind of mad. I wanted an extra deal 3. to deal with Ezreal. There's been a lot of Ezreals so far today. Ezreal. Is Ezreal one of the best champions right now? It's probably like Ezreal or Sejuani. Hey, good games, Bryson. Good luck in the rest of your ladder matches today. Submersible. Yeah, it's actually a card I looked at. That one, Submersible technically generates card advantage, right? Because it draws a card. Yeah, those probably aren't a big deal, Mad Hatter. There was one turd that was pretending to be me with... my icon, and they had an I that they had capitalized, so it looked like their name actually said Jeff Hoagland. It was real obnoxious. Teemo's pretty unlikely to live, so I think I'm going to mulligan the Chump Wumps here and keep the rest of these. That is a great draw. I'm going to risk the Thermo Beam here and play this on one, I think. Rough. This is perfect. You get to go 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I think it's right to make that play there. I know it feels bad when they have it in that instance, but pretty confident it's correct to, do that. Running hot on calling the worst possible outcomes today. Yep. I think I want to make that attack and hook their barrel before I play this, so this way my Trapper doesn't die to Mystic Shot. If it dies to, like, or it doesn't die to the deal 2, deal 1 card. Yeah, the beam would have done something at some point regardless. Big agree. And the way this deck is built, Babbling is always drawing Sejuani, right?
You'll fight or you'll swim.
Oh, I guess right now it's drawing a Yeti, huh?
They mom still out the yodel in uniform.
I think Riot can succeed in places Blizzard's ever been able to in terms of building viewership and competitive feed. They've got the most successful company ever, creating top-down. Yeah, I agree, Watermelon. I think the IP in general has a lot of potential. Yeah, I just like, if you don't have like exactly your 3 of, Rummage is technically not card advantage. It's like card disadvantage, so I think that's like not great. I'm gonna attack with all of these if they want to eat this here. This will be on 1 and we can kill it with a Mystic Shot later perhaps. We also get to draw a card. Don't make it rain again. Don't do it. Just Mystic Shot, deal. He has to do this actually. Save him. Forgotten Glory, thank you for the very generous tier 3. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. And Piles, damn good. Thanks for repping for the second month in a row. Enjoying the Fizz Teemo deck. Interesting lines of play. Thanks for the intro. Another player who plays Runeterra and is in Masters tier was working on the Fizz Teemo deck a little bit. You should check my Twitter timeline. They posted a build that looked really sweet. Probably going to try it on stream sometime soon.
What did you catch?
My selection speaks for itself.
You can see the Demacian border from here.
So I'm going to wait to play Sejuani till next turn, because this way I can hook something and make it vulnerable, and I'll bank enough mana that this is going to become Fury of the North. Once we play the other one out, we'll get the champion spell. We'll have 4 mana up to play that as well here, which is great. I think I'm just frostbiting the 2-1 here. Get some damages in. This is still at 1 of 5, nowhere close to leveling, unfortunately. That's interesting. So do I do this to save it? This will be at 1 toughness though, so it's probably not good, right? I guess I'll technically hit them for 8 down to 7. That's a really aggressive swing. Yeah, I think you're right that I do this because it's a really aggressive swing. So I get to hook the thing with zero power.
Denied.
Tread carefully.
So, like, good chance Sajani dies next turn, but we're gonna put them to 5 here. And, like, clean their board out, which is great. Honestly, just, like, worth noting how good Babbling was this game, right? Like, if Babbling had been Tusk Raider, we'd have been much worse off, just, like, having this really expensive, clunky card in our hand. And, like, because it was this cheaper, more efficient thing, we're in, like, a very reasonable spot. Is it crazy to just take the turn off in Progress Day?
I thought you'd never ask. I don't miss.
Okay, that's the punish.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Charge!
Well fought.
True.
Wait, what did they get? Oh, they stole one of our trappers, right?
What will you have?
Yeah, I think so. I think I was supposed to. I agree that I was supposed to pass on the previous turn.
Winter take you.
Got my sub to tier 3 to show support for the Runeterra content. Really respect your decision to take a break from Magic for a while. Looking forward to 5D chess. Me too. I don't know if the 5D chess is going to be a good game, but it should be amusing at the very least.
Let's take this outside.
You made choices. What's the
Yeah, I agree. We're not just dead by any means. So fun fact, I watched someone else play a little bit of the 5D chess, and they literally couldn't figure out how the game worked. So I've elected to not to go in blind. You want to go for Fury plus Mystic Shot there?
You miss me.
I mean, like, well, they had so much mana. People like,
One shot. All
it feels like y'all really used to be Magic players, because y'all love just like trying to make people have stuff when like they have a bunch of resources up and a bunch of cards in hand in their interactive decks. When I think of Gordian Quest, I actually really liked it. It was much closer to an RPG than a deck building game. It was like Neverwinter Night style RPG that like your characters took their actions like a deck building game would. I think we babbling here. Agree?
It was right on my tail.
charge.
The homestead.
They don't know what they're
Probably the most casual aspect of Hearthstone compared to Magic and Runeterra is that lethal is always lethal. Yeah, I think that's very accurate. And to be fair, in Magic lately, lethal is often lethal. Yeah, Babbling's been really good. It's been much better than Tusk Raider. Gonna get Shark tier. Shark's gonna deal just Thermo Beam. Okay, so this works out really well for us, right? Is there any punish for just hitting them with Fury here? They have 2 cards. They would need like Mystic Shot plus Oh, I could have Shroom first. That's a good call. And even if they got you plus Mystic Shot here, their hand is just so empty at that point, they probably can't catch back up, right? Yeah, like we easily lose that game with Tusk Raiders instead of Babblings, right? And like even the Progress days were okay. I don't know, I feel like I'm still on the fence about Progress Day, but Babbling was definitely very good. I played lab mode. No, I haven't, Walker. It's kind of a stick in the mud. I prefer to play like the default constructed modes more than anything. I don't know. I'm still just like in awe of like everything that goes on in Runeterra's base constructed mode that I kind of can't imagine like needing other things. I'm glad other people are enjoying them, but like as someone who's like spent a ton of time playing formats much worse than this one, like just really enjoying exploring what this format has to offer. Yes, unless we have a Yeti in our deck, Babbling is always drawing Sajani in this build, which is nice.
Hush, my sweet. It'll be over soon. We could use a bite. You dare!
That's true. Yeah, I could also draw some things off of Hawks. That's accurate.
Swiftly.
A tribute to the Spider God.
Poor Teemo. Yeah, we did a couple expeditions early on when we first started playing Runeterra, and the expeditions in Runeterra are much closer to Cube than they are to like normal Magic Limited, which is a good thing in my opinion. For metagames deck list, yeah, if you go to my RT decks page, there's a ton of metagame stuff on there.
I must get out of here. She's gonna be so happy.
Yeah, Pika, I think what you're getting at there, Pika, is something that I've talked about on stream a number of times before, which is that Runeterra has an incredible amount of in-game player agency. The number of choices that you make inside of each game that are likely to impact the outcome of that game is very high on average. I think I'm just gonna jump one here.
I used to find me mushrooms.
We shall not rest until all betrayers pay.
Salt Block, thanks to the 25 months. This isn't Kamigawa Block Tiny Leaders resubbed. That's a Kalista. Mods, feel free to just time out people that want a backseat game without justifications. Again, I encourage people to engage with me here and talk about the plays that I make. I frequently make mistakes, but if you want to point out a play that I've made and say that it's wrong, tell me why it's wrong. Otherwise, you're not being helpful. You're just being annoying and making noise. Def encourage everyone to, you know, take a second longer to type out their reasoning.
Darkness.
Tread carefully.
Fury's a tough one.
They walked around. Will no one listen? I told you.
So Kali says 1 away from leveling here. This is a little scary. I guess I have Sajani to deal with this now, right?
You own what you take.
Opponent's archetype sometimes plays Vengeance, but usually not super frequently. I think we just do this. It's important that I order whatever's hooking the Kali stuff first, because that way they can't put other things in front of it to level when they die, because again, combat resolves left to right. There could be merit, honestly, there could be merit to hooking this with something that's not Sajani, so that way, if they kill whatever's hooking it to save this, my Sajani lives. I missed 2 points of damage this way, but I think that's worthwhile. And again, just like, even that simple exchange there where I talk about the different permutations that could happen, like, the number of choices in that combat there, I feel like are more in-game decisions than, like, I make on average an entire match of Magic these days.
Everyone's a garden.
Is this feeling like a progress day turn?
Escapes my watch.
I think we'll play the 2-1 out here. Oh, I guess I could have progress stayed first, right? Because this is burst. Yeah, I just haven't really had an opportunity to use the shrooms. I agree that using shrooms aggressively tends to be good with Sajani, but I also just, like, haven't had like extra mana here. Like even this turn, right? I'm like using just every bit of mana. Is that a good gotcha? Progress day looking impressive here. We basically just need to try and not get punked out by their namesake card. Whatever that card's called. No, I don't really know anything about this IP.
Stand and fight.
I don't play this out.
Up there. I'll spot him.
Justice. Only revenge.
Ride onward.
A true Freljordian welcome.
So we'll do this. I'll attack with everything, and then they're gonna block to try and level the Kalista most likely. And unless I can kill them with Fury, I'll probably double Mystic Shot this. Well, there's a chance they block in a way that lets us kill them with Fury. So again, your spells happen before the level up happens. So the spells resolve on the stack first and then combat happens.
We shall return.
So they're currently on nothing, except they could draw They Who Endure the Tramp that overwhelms to kill us. The opponent needs They Who Endure, like, right now.
There you are.
And well, that one's not going to do it. Changes feel good. Feels like both Babbling and Progress Day were good additions. Play one more here before we slide along to some Heartoporos. They had the Pleb Poros, so their top decks were weak. Accurate. Alright, I think I'll keep Beam against Sajani Ash. Definitely don't ever want Progress Day in my opener. I live for the lonely Poro getting happy. I mean, don't we all? Tradesies. Yeah, we've been topping out somewhere in the 600 to 700 range for folks for Runeterra during the week, which is nice. A little bit lower on the weekends, but my weekend streams usually have a lower count. In fact, I was actually talking with Christy, and she said she hasn't minded me streaming every day, but she would like me to have some mornings off. So I was thinking about maybe trying moving my weekend segments into the evenings on Saturday and Sunday. Jacob, what's up? What are you talking to me about?
Oh, well, I put 2 burgers and strawberry the burgers so it's something. Well, with the game still on.
The game's still on. Can you push the little circle button on top of the Switch and it'll turn it off? Thank you, buddy. You're a good kid. Thank you for charging your controller. He felt like he needed to tell me that he plugged in his controller, which is good. I've been trying to get them to put their controllers on the charger when they're done.
Patience.
Patience.
These stories were true.
What if I just, like, hit this, beam this, open attacks next turn? Is that crazy? That's true. He didn't close the door. We'll get there. Baby steps. You don't know which button? Here, I'll show you real quick, okay, bud?
They walked around.
Sorry about that. Wanted to give him positive reinforcement for doing the right thing right away.
Hop on the train.
The game wanted to give me the opportunity to thermo beam our own thing there. Read.
I will unite the Freljord.
Kill it with fire!
Continue without me.
A chill in the air.
We fight for one Freljord.
It's a lot of 6/6s, chat.
Today we fight as one.
I'll protect the villages.
Feel like we're gonna get quickly outclassed here.
Save the homestead.
I mean, all things considered, that's not terrible. Might be a little bit too slow.
Many tribes under one banner.
I need just a moment.
Good to have you here, Mystical Bot. Hoping to peel a gotcha or a mystic shot with this progress day here.
Winter take you.
Do I do this or do I just jump Wump? It might be right to just jump Wump. I feel like Progress Day is playing to win.
Nothing like the great outdoors.
Sorry, Timo. You're going into the meat grinder, Timo.
Glory, you're mine. Show them our teeth. Remember me.
Keep Timo for the win next round. I mean, there's like 0 mushrooms. Oh, that's a good. The pumps. Yeah, that's probably better. Just go to 4. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I was so focused on.
Tell me mask, secure me
I was so focused on not dying that I didn't think about.
Stand and fight.
I didn't think about that.
Fight like the animal you are.
Alright, we did the fizz shoulders. This is where we get harsh winded now in response, right? Nailed it! No punish for the fizz shoulders, chat. You love to see it.
We survive.
You love to see it, chat. God bless us, everyone. I'm glad this is a No Justice stream too. Whew. Oh, we're gonna use that one, chat. That one's going right in the emote board. That one's gonna get used with the old fizz shoulders all the time. So it'll be a tough choice sometimes whether or not we stick out our tongue or shake our shoulders, but we're gonna try and muddle through it. Reported for robbery. Definitely stole that game. I don't know. The big question from a competitive standpoint is what we were doing here better than the deck we just played against. And like, obviously that question is a lot deeper than, well, we won, so obviously our deck is better. And the answer after playing is I don't know. I feel like our changes that we made, like getting Babbling and Progress Day into here from the build I started with, were definitely big improvements, but the amount of games I would need to get under my belt to say like, okay, this is better against the field is a lot. Fire Lash, thanks for the brand new Twitch Prime support. I appreciate this. Appreciate that. Timo with the puff caps definitely had a couple of games where we leveled Sajani very quickly, but at the same time, we also had, there's a lot of like static shots and mystic shots and vile piece in the format, and this deck with only 3 elixir of irons kind of has a hard time protecting Timo, and I don't think playing other cards like suit up in this deck are well suited. I think if you like playing Timo, do you like playing Sajani, this deck felt reasonably competitive, but as far as like, is it just a worse version of the Ash Sajani deck, the jury would be out for me on that. I don't know that I have a good conclusion there. All right, at any rate, I am going to hit a quick ad roll while I tweet out and set up for the next deck. When we get back, we're going to play some fluffs, chat. We're going to play some fluffy poros here. and this adorable pile of fluff. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.